So I am teaching writing for all three classes. So if they have Mr. Chestnut and Dr. Kilpatrick for homeroom, they see me for writing. And Mr. Chestnut is teaching all three classes math, or I'm sorry, Mr. Chestnut is teaching all three classes reading, and Dr. Kilpatrick is teaching math.
And just a heads up that we have to give everyone, we are recording this. We'll be posting it online, just so that you're aware.
I need to move this out of the way.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for coming out and spending some time with us tonight. My name is Tracy Marino. I am the proud principal of Greenwood Elementary. I want you to know one thing about me, and that's that I do love my job. This is my 15th year at Greenwood. And if you haven't already noticed, this is an
We're not going to actually have a live.
As we already know, this is going to be a school year like no other. As one of the Greenwood teachers likes to say, we are making history. We are reinventing teaching and learning. Along the way, there will be some amazing discoveries and new insights, and of course, some frustrations and disappointments. We are not just teachers and students this year. We are inventors and explorers. It is an exciting time to be part of public education. And I hope you will embrace our partnership as we venture into this new era. Now, with regard to remote learning, there is one thing that I do want to emphasize. We are going to go slow before we can go fast. All of the experts in this field caution us to build capacity and understanding in slow, purposeful ways. Now, I have heard of schools that have required students to be in front of a screen for 5 or more hours a day. We are not doing that. That is not developmentally appropriate, nor is it best practice. In fact, one of the most important skills we can teach our students is to go away from the computer and then come back. We want students to take a break and come back, to do a problem on their whiteboards and come back, or to close their eyes and listen and then come back to the computer. You see, the computer is not the classroom. The computer is part of the classroom. And so in these first days and weeks, we will be delivering instruction in deliberate, small chunks. We are building habits and routines that will sustain the content. We are also building stamina and discipline. In the weeks to come, you will see an increase in momentum and responsibility, but understand we need to go slow before we can go fast. How can you help? Well, just make sure that your children can find their teachers, because their teachers are looking for them every day in team meetings and in Schoology. Also, I encourage you to set a standing appointment to talk to your child's teacher every other week. And if you need help with technology, please reach out to us. Thank you for taking time to join us tonight. I am so glad that you are part of the Greenwood family. We are going to have a great Greenwood year. Thank you.
To keep sliding this box around.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew Chestnut. I am only teaching reading this year and one class of science and social studies. This is my 5th year in Kennett. I have been in 5th grade all those years. So a little behind these two guys, but learning as I go. So my goals this year are pretty simple. I know it's different than every year in the past, and we're kind of adjusting as we go. But my first goal is to teach the students to become tech friendly. You know, between Mr. Boyer's class and myself, we've been using Google Slides, Docs, and Sheets. And we'll start working on typing as well. But I mean, if I look where we were 2 days ago, we had trouble logging into Google as it was. Today, we are creating our own Google Sheets within 4 or 5 minutes. So how far the students have come in 2 days, it really is amazing. I'm very proud of them all. The next one is prepare students for middle school. You know, it's a lot of responsibility, especially this year. You know, when they're on their laptops, it's easy to look away or fool around or not do your work. So it really is a lot of responsibility for them to, you know, take charge of themselves. And a lot of times you're working, or, you know, you might have 2 or 3 children at home. So a lot of times 5th graders tend to be the oldest children in the family a lot of times, and it's on them to, you know, show the younger students how to do it. And like Dr. Marino said, I want to get students off the screen as much as I can. And by teaching reading, I have a nice chance to do that by reading. And I don't mean like books online. I want books in hand. So I know we take breaks throughout our reading class to pull books out and read. It's going to be a continuous thing for my class all years to read. I know Kennett Library is slow to get books out. If for some reason you have trouble getting books, let me know. And I have a classroom library. I can get books to you some way. If you can pick them up, I can drop them off somewhere. I'm willing to do that if you need to get books for your children. Because I want everybody to have 2 books at a time, just so they never run out of books. But said it's been a whirlwind every year so far, but after the 3rd day, I'm happy where we are. So nice meeting everybody tonight.
I'm going to put my slide in there second. All right. Again, I'm Mr. Boyer. This is, believe it or not, my 19th year of teaching. So I don't know how that's happened, but I have more gray hair than I've ever had this past year. So I am a Kennett graduate. I went to Mary D. Lang when it was Mary D. Lang for a year. Most people don't remember that. And then I went to New Garden Elementary School. And I went to the Kennett Middle School and graduated from Kennett High School. So I've lived here my whole life. I went away to college for 4 years, well, 4.5. And then I came back home and married my high school sweetheart. And we have 3 kids. They are Kennett kids. My oldest is 13. I have a 12-year-old, and we have a bad baby. He is 2. So we're still trying to figure out how that happened. You'll see me. I live right in town, right on South Street. If you're ever in town, you'll see me. We're always around. Our kids play sports. So I like to tell the parents, if you see me in public, please, you can come up and say hello. It's in a normal school year, we don't really get to interact a whole lot besides a few activities each year. So if you see me in public, take that chance to introduce yourself, because I probably won't recognize you. Hopefully I recognize your child, maybe not this year as easily, but if you see me, introduce yourself, and it's okay to ask, you know, how your child is doing. I will take the time and chat with you. So you'll see me around town. My goals in writing this year are pretty simple. I've been teasing the kids that I'm teaching the one subject they don't like. So I will try my best to make it fun, but my goals are actually, the very first one is a reading goal and a note-taking goal. It is to teach them how to closely read. So a thing we call close read, and then annotate text. So basically just taking articles, being able to read it for understanding, and then taking notes that are appropriate for them to then respond to that article. And then number 2, to become proficient at writing the text-dependent analysis. It is a word that students, they shudder when they hear it. You will hear it as TDAs. I call them totally disastrous assessments. But the real meaning is text-dependent analysis. And they will become very good at these. And if you could talk to anyone in my class over the last 2 years, they will tell you that by Christmas, they're really not that bad. They get over that fear, they understand what they're doing, and they do them pretty well. And my 3rd goal for writing is to be able to have them be able to write to inform, to persuade, and also to entertain. So we are really covering a lot in writing in 5th grade.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Kilpatrick.
Dr. K, you might want to unmute yourself.
Well, mark me not yet proficient.
He does that all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I was saying to the two sitting in the room here, my name is John Kilpatrick. I'm the homeroom teacher in room 24. For all the students in our group here, I am the math teacher. This is my 17th year at Greenwood. I also student taught here. So if you're counting student teaching years, I've been here for 18 years now. I've taught second and fifth grade. I taught second grade here for 10 years. I've taught fifth grade since. I did take 1 year where I was the elementary gifted coordinator and moved around the district. And that's where I had previously met some of the parents that are in here tonight, which is great. I love teaching math. I always said if I could just teach one subject all day, it would be math. And here we are, finally getting what I asked for. Unfortunately, doing it distant, but we're going to make the best of that as well. My goal in math is the same goal that I have every year. I want the kids to transition from thinking that addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are math. Those things are not math. Those are mathematical operations. My goal is to have them take those mathematical operations in order to describe real-life situations and to solve real-life problems. So we'll spend a little bit of time, mainly early in the year, just learning how to do some of those operations, some of those algorithms. But most of the year and most of our time is going to be spent applying them forward and solving problems. So we'll do a lot of problem solving. Some days we may only work on one problem for the whole math class because it will be that intricate and that difficult to work through. Something you'll hear me say to the kids all the time and something you can repeat is, yes, math is hard. Yes, fifth grade is hard, but hard is okay. It's okay to run into things that sometimes you can't jump over quickly and easily. And you'll hear me repeat that often. I'll continue here very quickly. We're building a contact list. A contact list is more important now than it ever has been because we don't have the students in front of us. We can't drop notes in backpacks to go home or write notes and agendas to go home and be signed by the parents. So we really need to make sure that our contact list is up to date. We had put together a sign-in form. It's in our Schoology. We're going to use this to update our contact list because we know sometimes an email address changes or a phone number changes or a cell phone changes. So please take a minute to go back to the Schoology, your child's homeroom Schoology. It should be under parent information. Find that sign-in sheet. It's a sign-in for tonight to show that you were here, but it also allows us to update that list. We also really recommend downloading the Talking Points app on your phone. I know I've contacted a lot of my parents quickly and easily through that. They've written back to me quickly and easily. Highly recommended. That's what we're being asked to use this year, and that's what we use most often to stay in contact with you. You want to talk about specials?
Sure.
And I'll remute myself.
Greenwood Elementary related arts presentation. Tell me it's a video. It's not a video. I have to read it.
You do.
All right. How often will your child have specials? So music. Well, first let me back up. We are on a 6-day cycle at Greenwood, and the beauty of teaching fifth grade is that most of you already know that. So we do have a couple new students this year. So if you're new to the school, we go A through F day. So even though we do Monday through Friday, we actually go A through F day on the cycles. So they will have music twice, 2 classes per cycle. My class has Mrs. Stratman. Dr. K, do you know who you have? Dr. K has Mrs. Stratman as well, and
Mrs. Ford.
Mr. Chestnut's class has Mrs. Ford for music. So they'll have them twice. Art this year, Mrs. Bergman actually switched schools. She is only at Greenwood for 1 day. So I think my class has the new teacher, Miss Gray. Dr. K, do you know who you have? Dr. K's class has Miss Gray, and
I had Mrs. Bergman.
so Mr. Chestnut's class has Mrs. Bergman, who has been the art teacher the last few years, the sole art teacher here at Greenwood. Physical education is Mrs. Conroy. She's been doing that for a while. Health, my class has Mrs. Hainsey. So does Dr. Kilpatrick.
I believe mine is Mrs. Conroy.
And Mr. Chestnut has Mrs. Conroy. Spanish is Mr. Kane, and that's nice because I know we've gone through quite a few Spanish teachers the last few years. But Mr. Kane is back, and he is the sole Spanish teacher. And then library research is Mr. Rafferty. Now, if your class has library research like mine right now, that will be for half the year. And then at some point in the year, we will switch to Spanish to end the year. So my class is starting the year with library research. Dr. Pay, do you know where to start?
We're in library research as well.
Okay.
More in Spanish.
And Mr. Chestnut's in Spanish. All right, what can you expect during your child's special class? Every special is 50 minutes in length. They are going to provide live instruction through Teams, just like we are doing for our classes. There will be asynchronous learning activities, and they will also post lessons to Schoology for you to reference. And everything they do will be engaging. You want to talk about Lexia?
So we do have a presentation that we are asked to put in by Mrs. Hertz about Lexia Core 5 reading. This year, usually we only have a limited number of Lexia licenses, and we hand out to certain students. This year, every student received a Lexia license, and I believe in reading class, they may start using that a little bit more here in the future, but we've been asked to play this short presentation on Lexia.
This year at Greenwood, as part of our remote learning plan, all Greenwood students have a Lexia license. Lexia is a fun, computer-based program that has helped millions of students improve their literacy skills. The activities in Core 5 support and build on your child's classroom curriculum and focus on developing reading skills in 6 areas: phonological awareness, phonics, structural analysis, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Students will access Lexia on their Clever page. Here's how Lexia Core 5 reading works. The first time your child logs onto Lexia, they will take a placement test. Then your child begins Core 5 at a starting point that fits his or her needs, and then engages in online activities throughout the week. These online activities include direct instruction and immediate feedback as your child learns new skills. Lexia will assign a weekly target for usage minutes and completed learning units. Progress and performance in the program are reported directly to the teachers so that they can analyze your child's achievements and provide feedback. When your child is using Lexia at home, make sure that they have a space in the house that is quiet and distraction-free. Headphones can be helpful but are not necessary, as long as the student can hear the directions and complete the tasks. One of the most important things that you can do for your child during remote learning is having them use the Lexia reading program regularly. And your child needs to meet their weekly Lexia goals. Remember, there's a minutes target. Your child should play for the minimum weekly minutes. And more importantly, there's a units target. Your child should complete the minimum number of learning units. Meeting these Lexia goals will help improve critical literacy skills, and your child will have a lot of fun while they're learning.
There's one person waiting. Oh, for the next one. Okay. So that concludes our presentation for the night. So if you have any questions, I guess the best way is to unmute yourself or raise your hand if you know how to do that. I've been using Teams. I don't really know how to do that anymore. Let me see. I don't know.
I see a question there about PSSAs this year. The state has PSSAs on the calendar, but they also had them on the calendar last year, and they ended up not happening. So we really don't know. As far as we know, yes, we are until we hear otherwise.
I just wanted to make a comment that I'm also a teacher, by the way. I know this is really hard work. That the Talking Points app you don't have to download as a parent. It will ask you for a teacher name that's just for teachers, and it might, so just so everyone knows.
Thank you. Is Lexia done independently or during class? That will probably be something that we set up independent for the students. Mr. Chestnut will work on setting that up with the kids.
Yeah, it'll probably be independent work, kind of like Alex for math.
Are there any other questions?
I have one question about physical activity. I noticed my son today was, I know that you guys are sending him away from the computer sometimes, but I'm wondering if you could make him do push-ups or run around the block. He was tired today. I think it was a lot of sitting. So I'm just wondering if we can put some physical activity in there.
Absolutely. I think I told the kids the first couple days here, we're really hogging their time on purpose just to make sure that they are proficient in clicking the right buttons. We're spending a lot of time saying, click to the right, no, your other right, no, the top button, no, the blue one. So once they get a little more comfortable with that, absolutely. I know for writing, what you're going to see a lot, we can do a lot of offline writing and journaling, so away from the computer. And I fully expect to teach in mini lessons, 10, 15 minutes, and then go work. And absolutely, we can build more movement in. I'm the big recess guy anyway in 5th grade. So, I told the kids I'd rather be in the goose poop out back playing football. So, maybe we'll just have to tell them a little bit more that they have to get up and get out. I always tell them no Fortnite, but so, we'll do that for you. I know they listen to us more than the parents. So.
Yeah, absolutely do. Thank you so much. It's been a really great experience.
Thank you, everyone. We have to end the meeting now because we're starting a new meeting. So it's not personal when this all just goes blank. We just have to go. That's the only way that we can start a new meeting. But please, that you can contact any of us through email, talking points, any way that you want to. Send us messages on Schoology through your kids. We really, truly can only do this if we work together. It's not ideal for anyone, but we can make it meaningful and we can make it not so miserable on the kids. So thank you so much for taking the time to come in tonight, and please keep in touch with us.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.